Admissions are opening up and students are quite concerned about the entry test. They don't know what to do about it and they're quite confused. So today I'm going to give you some tips in order to tackle with that particular issue. What you need to do is, if you're applying for literature, if you're someone who's really interested in literature, and if you're going for bachelor's or MPhil, and if you're applying at a renowned institution, what you're supposed to do is you need to have an understanding of the history of English literature. It's really essential that you understand this. Well, every single institution is very concerned whether you have any idea of the history or not. It's okay that you're a lover of novels or maybe poetry or maybe drama, and probably you excel in all of these, but it doesn't matter that much if you cannot place them in a historical context. So you need to know how it all started and how it ended, or you know how things are going these days. So you're supposed to have a 360-degree view of things, and you could only do that if you have an understanding of the history of English literature. Well, I would definitely recommend you buying Michael Alexander's History of English Literature. Maybe you could read a History of English Literature which is written by William J. Long, or maybe you could buy a book from Routledge Publishers. They have also rendered a very important book on history. And the second thing you need to keep in mind, you need to familiarize yourself with literary theory. It happens to be extremely important. People take it very lightly, they think that's not gonna matter, but a lot of questions concern literary theory directly, because if you're a student of literature, you definitely need the help of literary theory in order to get down to the bottom of a particular text, and you need to have multiple lenses if you intend to explore something. If you're someone who's struggling with literary theory, I do suggest that you start working on that, otherwise you might struggle with the entry test. And the third thing which you need to keep in mind is you're supposed to be familiar with certain literary terms. There are so many literary terms and jargons which are often used, so you need to familiarize yourself with them. There are so many books out there which you could buy and read, and they're about literary idioms and literary terms and literary jargons. So if you have a certain book with you, nothing would stop you from topping the exam. I believe that if you're a student of literature, you need to have an understanding for all these things. And if you're someone who's not interested in literature and who's belonging to some different field, even then there are general things which you need to keep in mind. Well, you need to pick a niche, you need to pick a genre, you need to narrow it down. You might have a certain research interest, so you need to see as to which aspects are essential, you need to understand as to what you need to look into. You need to have a thorough understanding as to which aspects of your research interest are important. So if you cover all those aspects, then there's no stopping you. All right, doesn't matter which field you belong to. There are always certain things which stick around. They don't change for a long time, so you would come across those questions over and over again. So they're not going to ask you something new and out of the syllabus. It's just something that you might not be taking interest in when you're actually studying that, but that is something that could end up in an entry test. So you need to be very open about the question that they might be asking you, and you need to do all your homework. Even if you are someone who belongs to the field of pharmacy or physiotherapy or diet and nutrition, you need to focus on all the things that really matter. All right, all the things that you might be interested in, because people would be asking you questions related to those. So it's always going to be something that you're familiar with. So if you're someone who's attempting a certain test after a long time, then well, chances are that even if you're familiar with something, you might not remember it the way you used to when you're actually attempting that in an entry test. So you need to strengthen your concepts, and you need to look into things that really matter. All right, there are a handful of things that you need to consult. So these are some of the tips I have for you for entry test. They're quite general in nature, but I believe that they're really gonna be helpful for you. We need to stick to the basics and we need to work on the things that are really important. All right, if you like the video, please like, subscribe and share. Thank you.